And we're back. You're listening to Good Deeds, Real Estate with a Mission. I'm Bill Weidecker from the Fine Homes Group at Keller Williams, and she is Diane Davidson from the Fine Homes Group at Keller Williams. And we are partners in business and partners in life, and we just love talking about real estate. And in the first segment, we kind of gave just a little bit of a general overview as to what's going on in the local real estate market. We're going to move, as promised, into this idea of preparation and having all of those things taken care of. So when you're ready, you can execute without a lot of stress, because most people, if they aren't prepared, it can be a stressful situation. So let's talk from the seller's perspective, Diane, and get a sense of like what if I'm thinking of moving in 2024, what would you be telling me? How would you start the conversation?
Well, it's interesting you ask it that way, Bill, because truthfully, if someone's thinking of moving anytime in the next few and sometimes several years, it's great to start. The earlier you start the conversation, the better off you are. And frankly, if there are things by way of property preparation or improvements or enhancements that we would suggest to a homeowner who is an eventual seller, why not enjoy it for a while? Why do it for the next person? So it's really never, ever too soon. Trends don't change that quickly, and we're not huge proponents of things that are trendy anyway. We our suggestions are usually very sort of classical and timeless. So anyway,
I got it.
Yep. So what I would suggest is to go step by step, obviously with a professional. I think that not only is it stressful if you're not prepared and if you don't do it in a sort of a sequence at a cadence that feels comfortable for you, but it could be not a prudent financial decision, because if the property isn't prepared, then you are surely leaving money and perhaps terms on the table. And our job is to always represent our buyers and sellers to maximize the situation that they're in, right? So I think the first step is to reach out and to have to meet with somebody, a Fine Homes Group agent, if I might use that shameless plug.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what we're here for.
Because we really do a great job of evaluating the situation, evaluating the home, it's not one size fits all. Some homes could use more enhancement than others. Some sellers, some homeowners have more of an appetite than others. So we really, it's a consultation to understand what somebody's needs are, what somebody's comfort levels are, and how we can help, how we can put all the pieces together. And we put those pieces together with a very carefully curated team of professionals who are there to do what they do best in preparation for the home. Now, that's also, if you're thinking about, oftentimes people thinking of selling are buying, they're going somewhere. So that dovetails into professionals that help move that along.
Yeah, it would seem to me, Justin and I have had this conversation before, because when he bought his first home, he was executing on one move, right? And now when he moves again, he's going to be executing on two. He's selling the property he has, and then he's buying the next. So if I were a seller in 2024 and I call up the Fine Homes Group and I say, okay, what do I do? Your suggestion is, let's get together, let's sit down, and let's consult with each other as to what your goals are. What are you looking to achieve? Where are you going to move?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. What's your time frame? What are your priorities? We learn about the person first, because this is a relationship business, and we happen to sell real estate, right? So we first learn about the homeowners and what's driving them to think about moving, what their timetable is, what their druthers are, what their absolute I won'ts are, and start from there. And then we get into what I call the physical plant of it, the home.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where other professionals come in. That's where our team comes in to execute on what we think the plan will be. But as you said, life has a funny way of happening, right? I'm not sure if that was the exact quote, but we'll have a plan. We will leave with the plan in place, and oftentimes things happen out of sequence, because I also think that, once the seed is planted and the universe is out there, and the energy is out there in the universe, rather, it's a funny thing. Fate's a funny thing, is what you said, and it's true. All of a sudden, that house in South Carolina
Pops
is on
up.
the front page of the Wall Street Journal, right? So it's interesting the way it happens. Our job is really to start building the foundational pieces and get the sellers prepared, because the ready happens very spontaneously. The ready happens at an open house after having brunch. The ready happens because a friend moves and wants you to move next door in Florida. I mean, the point is that our job is to have our clients in a state of readiness, a state of being prepared, so that when life presents an opportunity to them, they are maximizing that opportunity.
I think the quote you were looking for, by the way, was life comes at you pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you can miss it. And that's from the documentary film Ferris Bueller's Day Off back in
yes,
1985 or 86.
I love myself a good documentary.
That's right.
Bueller.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fun.
But it is true. It does come. Things do happen very, very quickly when you're kind of getting ready. It comes out of nowhere. So, I've had conversations where people have said, "Well, I would sell my house this year, but where will I go?" And which is obviously, rather than ignore that question, because there's an embedded question there, and that is, well, where would you go if you could go? Where would you go? Mm-hmm. And that opens up the dialogue for people to say, well, I would move to something smaller here in the state. I would move to another part of the country. Now, all of a sudden, we're talking about possibilities. I cannot tell you how many times we've had people say, we're just going to sell and get something a little bigger, or we're going to sell and get something a little smaller. We're going to this part of the state. We're going, and out of nowhere, plans change. They're like, we're going to sell, and now we're going to sell much more quickly because we've decided we're going to move to, and it's out of state. It's somewhere else. Because possibilities happen out of nowhere. And we see that all the time, because when people start thinking about it, like you said, Diane, they start executing in their head, and then the process speeds up. So it's better to have a plan.
The law of attraction, right?
Amen.
That's the secret. And so haven't we seen, when that's happened, people go through undue stress?
Sure, because now things happen out of sequence.
Now they need it.
And they're not ready.
Right, exactly.
Or prepared, as you say.
Right.
Preparation is so important, because, if you've got a strategy, you know where you're going. What's funny?
No, I can't say it on air. I just can't.
What?
I'm not saying it.
Okay. Well, you're going to leave millions of people wondering.
Well, I just thought of, a new slogan. H for preparation H. I'm not allowed.
Oof, might be a trademark issue among other things.
I don't think we can.
I know we can't use it.
I don't think we can.
Forced me to say it.
I don't think we can call it that. But,
no, we can't.
I think it's taken. That name is taken.
That is taken.
Yes, yep. But if I am a seller and I say, okay, I heard your radio program. You were talking about preparation. Tell me, what do I need to do?
I would be happy to put the coffee on.
Gotcha. Because every home's different.
Yeah, we can't know, and we should talk about that too. The giving proper advice and understanding the ROI, return on investment, because oftentimes, I would say most of the time, when we're visiting a future seller, they want to know if they should do that, should they paper a wall, should they replace a garage door, and it's really irresponsible, I believe, if an agent is willing to talk about that piecemeal. Because it's not worth. We want to make sure that our homeowners, our sellers, or our future sellers aren't spending money and wasting money, but they're investing money. I'm going to give you an example. If you have 2 garage doors, right, mm-hmm. and there are even studies that the National Association of Realtors have done, and Realtor.com, and they say to replace a garage door, let's say it's $3,800, and the ROI on that is 100%. Well, that's all well and good, but if 2 need replacing and you only replace 1, there's the ROI on that is 0, because they're going to see the door that needs replacing. So you've wasted your money. And so when we are asked, should I do this, should I do that in preparation, we always table it while we take in the whole property. We look at the whole picture. We get numbers for each thing that as line items, and figure out the best place to invest money in improving and enhancing so that they're not wasting money. And it's a process, and it's detailed, and it's important.
And if somebody, well, you know what, we're up against a break, so we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna come back and talk about this process a little bit more in our next segment. Stick with us. You're listening to Good Deeds, Real Estate with a Mission.